All right, let's dive into one of the most dramatic and foundational stories ever told. The Origin of Passover, straight from Exodus chapter 12. It's an incredible story of plagues, survival, and a desperate flight to freedom that literally shaped the course of history.
So let's start with the question. Imagine you've been warned that a final, absolutely terrifying plague is coming at midnight. One that's going to strike down the firstborn in every single house. There's no negotiation, no place to hide. The only question is, how do you possibly survive?
Well, for the Israelites who were enslaved in Egypt, the answer wasn't some secret escape plan or a hidden bunker. Nope. Their survival hinged entirely on following a very, very specific set of divine instructions, to the letter.
So let's set the stage. We really have to understand the context here. This isn't just some random threat. This is the climax, the final act in a divine showdown between the God of Israel and the power of Egypt.
The warning delivered by Moses and Aaron is absolutely chilling. A final plague will sweep through the land, and it will strike down every firstborn, from human to animal. No one is exempt. The stakes could not possibly be higher.
Okay, so with this catastrophe just hours away, a very specific ritual is commanded. Think of it like a blueprint for survival, where every single detail matters.
And these instructions were incredibly specific. Every step was crucial. First up, each household had to choose a perfect lamb. 1-year-old, male, no blemishes. Then, its blood wasn't just for a sacrifice. It was to be used as a protective mark, painted right onto the doorframe. The meal itself was full of meaning. The lamb roasted whole, eaten with bitter herbs to remember the bitterness of slavery, and unleavened bread, because, well, there was no time to wait for it to rise. And finally, look at how they had to eat it. Fully dressed, shoes on, staff in hand. This was not a relaxed family dinner. This was a go-bag meal. They were getting ready to move.
And this is where the name Passover comes from. It's actually pretty literal. The blood on the door was a token, a sign. When the plague swept through Egypt, the Lord would see the blood and pass over that house, protecting everyone inside from the destroyer.
So the instructions have been given, the preparations are made, the moment of truth arrives, and everything that was promised, it comes to pass.
The chillingly precise about the timing. At the stroke of midnight, the plague begins its sweep across the entire nation. This isn't random. It's targeted, it's deliberate, and it's happening right now.
And here you see the two starkly different realities of that night. On one side, you have the Israelite homes, marked with the blood of the Lamb. They're safe, the destroyer passes over. But on the other side, every single unmarked Egyptian home, from Pharaoh's palace to the humblest prison cell, suffers a devastating loss.
The result is just unimaginable grief. The text describes this great cry in Egypt, a single, universal wail of sorrow because there wasn't a single unmarked house left where someone wasn't dead.
The immediate aftermath isn't quiet reflection. It's pure chaos. It's panic. And it's the sudden, urgent, messy beginning of the Exodus.
Pharaoh, the same guy who had so stubbornly refused to let the people go, is completely broken. He doesn't even wait for sunrise. In the middle of the night, surrounded by all this grief, he calls for Moses and Aaron and essentially begs them, "Get out, take your people, and just go." And the departure is a frantic scramble. The Egyptians themselves, terrified of what might happen next, are pushing them to leave faster. The Israelites just grab their bread dough before it can rise. They ask their Egyptian neighbors for gold and silver, and they get it. And it's interesting, the text also notes they weren't alone. A mixed multitude of other people joined them in their escape.
And just like that, an entire era comes to a dramatic end. The text makes a point of saying that, to the very day, the children of Israel had been living in Egypt for 430 years.
And the sheer scale of this departure is just staggering. We're told that about 600,000 men left on foot, and that's not even counting women and children. This was a massive migration, born from a single night of terror and deliverance.
But you know, this story doesn't just end with them walking out of Egypt. This one event is immediately cemented as a permanent foundational tradition for their people.
The instructions are crystal clear. This night is never to be forgotten. It has to be observed as a feast, a memorial to this exact moment of deliverance, an ordinance forever. This isn't just a cool story. It's now the very basis of an ongoing identity.
So you can see the whole sequence laid out, right? It all starts on day 10 with choosing that perfect lamb. Then, on day 14, the ritual happens. That leads to the incredible climax at midnight. By the next morning, the mass exodus is underway, and it establishes a tradition meant to last forever.
And this leaves us with a really big thought to chew on. This is so much more than just an ancient account of a single terrifying night. It's a story of identity, freedom, and faith that has been retold for thousands of years, which really raises a profound question. How do foundational stories like this one continue to shape a people's identity, their values, and their collective memory across millennia?